Come with us on a journey into the unknown, the unexplained, and the unbelievable. We will test your senses and challenge your beliefs. A world where science and religion clash. Or do they? You will meet real people and hear real stories, but you will not believe. You will witness strange sights and hear strange sounds, but you will not believe. This is the New England Ghost Project. Welcome to the nightmare.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Ghost Chronicles Morning Edition. Right on time. I am Ron Kolick, your host, the gatekeeper around with the unknown, the unexplained, the unbelievable, the mystical, the magical, the macabre, New England zone.
Hey, we got it done, didn't we?
We're do.
We're here.
We do. The idea, see, that's the difference between you and I, Lou, and the rest of the country.
Yes.
Is we have problems, we deal with them. Anyway.
Yes. It's not always efficient. It's not always pretty.
Nope.
Not always effective.
And it's always, we take responsibility and we do it.
Yep.
Unlike other people. Anyways, joining me is the professor, of course.
Whenever you're feeling bad about something like that, just think about Afghanistan. See, it's not so bad.
Oh, what a... It's just... you don't know how much they... You know, I pretty much stay out of politics, but that one...
Publicly, anyway.
Publicly.
Yeah.
Absolutely irks the crap out of me because of, you know, it... And you know what? Even if it's happening, okay, at least take responsibility for it. It's like, we nothing we could do, you know. It's like bullshit.
Yeah.
Anyway,
horrible.
Yeah, absolutely horrible.
It used to be no man left behind. Now it's everybody for themselves. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, joining us is one of my favorite people. She's a medium, the author of Medium Rare, and the proprietor of Positively Brilliant. And she is positively brilliant today in this natural light, unlike us in this. Look like we're corpses, don't you know that?
I didn't get to choose the lighting.
Anyways,
it's my studio, but I didn't get to choose the lighting.
Leslie Mudd, as you can't tell by her name on the thing. And it's spelled right, unlike me.
Thank goodness.
So, Leslie, thank you for joining us. And Leslie just Leslie, we can't hear you.
Why?
Oh, no, here we go.
Oh, no. She's not muted, so.
I'm not
Leslie,
muted.
we can't hear you.
All right, Leslie, why don't you go out and come back in, and we'll...
What else could go wrong this day?
No, just exit the studio, leave studio down the bottom, and then come back in with the same link. Usually that does it. Bye. It's just really. We were working with this not 10 minutes ago.
It's Biden.
That's right.
You heard us talking about him.
Facebook is covering up for Biden. Oh, Lord.
Oh, you can't talk politics on Facebook. That's what I guess.
Honest to God. Here we go. Leslie, can you hear us?
Can you hear us now? Say something.
For me. Oh, come
on. Barely.
Yeah, your volume is really low.
Volume was like super low.
It was fine just a little while
Now
ago.
you're good.
You sure?
Yeah, now we can hear you fine.
All right.
All right, here we go again.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
All right, I don't even know where I was starting, but I've got a couple of things I want to mention. And the first one, of course, on last week's show, we talked about the most badass nuns of all time.
Yep.
So I figured I'd dip a new one in.
And Leslie, that's not even hyperbole. They were badass.
They were badass. The last one was a hitman. Yeah, Spanish nun turned hit woman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that's badass.
Wait a minute. She was totally pardoned by the Pope.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she had godly reasons to become a hitman?
I have no idea.
Doesn't it sound like a Quentin Tarantino movie?
Really?
Yeah.
She died following the duel with the husband of a woman she was hot for.
So it's not nuns with guns. It's nuns with guns.
You naked nuns with guns. That's the movie. If you don't know what we're talking about, there's this movie out there. It's called what? Naked nuns with guns. And yeah, there you go. All I can tell you.
So she was a Hispanic hitman lesbian nun who got pardoned by the Pope. Yeah.
Whew.
Told you, badass.
Totally badass. All right.
Who died in a duel with a love his husband.
I have no idea.
I love that story.
Well, there's more. Don't worry. So,
Gonna go to church and light a candle for her.
anyways, this is our next one. It is Annie Patchen, the warrior nun. Just like the
Okay.
Ultimate Warrior in WWF.
I think that's different, but yeah, okay.
Could be.
Yep.
Anna Patchen was born in 1933 in Tibet. See? When she was 17, her parents decided to marry her off.
Get out.
But she had other plans. She ran away and moved into a Buddhist monastery. A 3 weeks journey. So she went 3 weeks. She traveled by herself at 17 to this Buddhist monastery in Tibet. I just can imagine what the neighborhood was like.
Sure.
Anyways, she became a Buddhist nun in 1958. When her father died, she became leader of the family clan.
All right.
She took up arms and became a warrior nun, fighting to keep communists from China out of her homeland. She led her people in guerrilla warfare for a year. The Chinese caught her and threw her in jail because she refused to renounce the Dalai Lama. They don't like the Dalai Lama. She was beaten and hung by her wrists for a week and spent a year in leg irons and spent 9 months in solitary confinement in an unlit jail cell. She spent the last 11 years of her sentence in the infamous Drapachi prison in the Tibetan capital of Lhasa, or whatever the frick it is. As soon as she was released from a total of 21 years in prison, she went right back to her warrior ways, leading protests and demonstrations. She found out that she was going to be put in jail again, so she ran away to the border of Tibet and walked 25 days in deep snow to escape to Nepal. She died in 2002. Well, she wasn't as badass as the other one. I'll give you that one.
Well, she did. She killed people. She led guerrilla warfare. That's pretty good.
I know.
I'm reminded of the phrase "God hath no fury like a woman."
So true.
Period. Yeah.
So
Period.
true.
Period. Yeah. We don't even need the end of that.
True.
Yeah.
So true. So I've got a bitch in today. Nothing to do with you, Leslie.
I don't think there was a need to point that out.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, I just didn't want anybody to infer.
Yeah.
An infer.
I appreciate the reassurance. Thank you.
Do you know who Zach Bagans is?
Yes.
Zach Bagans?
Zach Bagans?
I do not.
Lou?
Leslie knows.
I know.
Lou, you don't know who Zach Bagans is?
I don't believe I do. No.
Leslie?
Guessing out.
Where you been?
I'm sorry.
He doesn't watch the Travel Channel, apparently.
It's the Ghost Adventurers. He's
Oh,
like
no.
the most
Sorry.
prominent paranormal guy in the world today.
Okay. Yeah.
People, they did a poll in England, and most people aspire to the number one selection would be Zach Bagans. If you were, who's their favorite, their aspired paranormal investigator. So, anyways, he bought this guitar for $666, a 6-string guitar.
Why would a paranormal guy pay $666 for anything?
See, you don't know the Zach Bagans.
Okay.
Zach Bagans has a haunted museum.
Yeah.
So he buys all this crap and puts it in the museum, and people pay money to go see this museum. Plus, he gets to make a TV show out of the crap he buys.
So did he manipulate the price of it? Like, was it a $650 guitar? And he said, no, I'll pay you $666 just for the story.
You know what? That's the thing I kind of like want to talk about is because, and I want your opinion on this too, Leslie, because there are a lot of people that put all kinds of crap on eBay and other places that are supposedly haunted or cursed or whatever. And people pay good money for it. You know, and they're supposed to be haunted. So what's your thoughts on that?
I think people like to try to make a quick buck. Other people feel that these items are ruining their lives because they want to place blame on something. And some people have a legitimate gripe. Some people actually have haunted items. So it depends on the situation, I would think.
I mean, since the beginning of time, if you look at the internet, if you look at eBay, you'll find all kinds of crap. I mean, in our book, Ghost of Day, we talk about Grandpa's cane, where they sold this cane that supposedly had a ghost attached to it for infinite ton of money. But they actually wanted to sell his ghost, but they couldn't sell his ghost because you can't sell nothing on eBay. So you had to have an object. So he had his cane that was a torch attached to it. So.
They're gonna sell Grandpa's soul on eBay.
Pretty much, huh? They have Ghost in the Jar on eBay, I believe, too.
I've got your next business for both of you.
Okay, here we go.
All right. I just want a piece of it. I don't want to do it, but I want a piece of it.
Okay.
I also work doing some shows with trading cards, baseball cards, things like that. There are grading services that will look at the authenticity of the card, make sure it's the correct card, and give you a supposedly neutral grade, how good it is, what kind of condition it's in. You guys should start a haunted grading service.
Oh, yeah, that would be terrific.
Where you could verify the haunted, like it's got a colic, it's a colic grade 5 haunting. Where you've got enough.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So people, if they want to buy a haunted item, they want to make sure it's a legitimate haunted
item.
So
we could have like from 1 to 10 tongues on it.
There you go.
Colic. That's the first picture that came in my mind. I have no idea, probably because of the way you said it.
Yep.
And it's like,
so you should do a great.
You know how they do stars on it, or little hands, or little things, so they have tongues. Colic.
Yep. Graded.
It's not colic. It's colic.
So the grading system could be, if it's not very good, it's just a K. And if it's KO. And if it's a 5-star, it's Kolek because it's 5 letters. So you get the whole name, you got it.
Yeah.
Right. Just you guys look it over, and Leslie has a feel for it, and if there's something there, she gives it a grade.
See, that's the problem with the paranormal, and it's just so subjective. That too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So I mean, it really is. I mean, one person. I mean, no offense, but people send me all their haunted trash to my. I mean, excuse me, all their haunted items because there's terrible curses and there are horrible things that happen to them. I got Ouija boards and tarot cards and beads and who knows what else they send me.
Photographs.
What's that?
The photograph that you got.
Oh God, photograph. Well, that one's real. Don't you pull out my photograph. That thing is.
So why don't you sell some of this stuff?
You just think what happened to the thing. We got this stupid virus now. Look what's Afghanistan's going down. All because of that stupid freaking photograph. I'm telling you.
If there's a market for haunted items on eBay, why aren't you selling this stuff off?
A thing called integrity.
Integrity. It's haunted. It's haunted.
Zach Bagans will buy it.
I'm sure he would. I mean, but seriously, I mean, Steve's the same way. He's got a whole collection of these deaf dolls. I mean, we talked about it on our Patreon. By the way, if you're not a member of Patreon, you certainly should join. We want to welcome the 2 numerous members of Patreon, Jan Schmidt and Stephen W.K. Scott. And thank you for joining us. And we've got like 24 exclusive videos on there. Yep. We just say what we want to in these videos. You never know what's going to happen.
Got a new one coming out. We just recorded one before the show, which is why we're late.
Well, maybe we recorded it. We never know until this day is over.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
But so anyways, go to Ghost Chronicles Radio on Patreon, and you can sign up. I think it's $3 a month. And then after a year, we give you, check this out, you'll get a copy of the infamous Ghost Chronicles, the magazine.
What?
Ghost Chronicles, the magazine.
New to Leslie.
Leslie's in it. Leslie actually contributed to it.
I did. I didn't think that ever came to light.
Oh, but
here it is.
It has. 5 years later, it has. It has risen, just like Spirit Quest this year, Resurrection from the Ashes. Well, Ghost Chronicles, the magazine, has resurrected, and I have seen the first copy of it, and it is freaking awesome. And I'm excited, and this may be something we are pushing to do on a regular basis. So it's an awesome. It's contributors. We have contributors from all over the world in this magazine, and so you can only get it on Patreon, by the way, right now. So there you go. If you've been on for a year, you get this magazine, which is amazing.
Still seeing this haunted shop on eBay. Ron's haunted shop. with a K. This is a K5 haunting. Like from K1, like they say it's haunted, but we can't really verify it. Might be, or Leslie won't even pick this thing up. That's a K7 haunting.
She won't even touch it.
She won't even touch it. Yeah.
Don't laugh, but when I first started doing ghost hunting, or whatever you want to call it, paranormal investigating with Maureen, right? She brought me a hematite necklace. Guys wear necklace?
Yeah, of course.
Sure.
Okay, so this
Especially
hematite.
if you're Greek or Italian.
Yeah, well, it's not gold. It's hematite, and it has a hematite cross on it, right? So I used to wear it because hematite is grounding, Leslie, right?
Yes, it is.
So I used to wear it on my investigations and stuff, right? So the cheapo clasp on it broke. So Circles of Wisdom, there's a girl there, and she fixed that stuff. So I brought it in. I put it on the counter. She goes, I'm not going to touch that. She says, that's full of negative.
Wow.
Yeah.
She could just feel it.
Yeah, she could just feel it without even, actually, her. It was Joy.
Oh, it was Joy?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay.
I believe it was Joy.
And Joy's
If it wasn't Joy, I'd take that back.
Joy's pretty positive. It must have really affected her.
Oh, that was.
It's a protective and grounding stone. Maybe it protected you from all of that evil that was on it, all that negativity.
And then, so what we have here, what do we have here? A ghost absorber?
Ooh, that's the marketing skills right
Yeah,
there.
there we go. We're going to build myself a little ghost strap here out of hematite.
It's a ghost vaccination, Ron. Come on, get with the times.
It's not vaccination.
It's a ghost vaccination. Ghost immunity.
No, it's not
We
like.
don't want that. We need the ghosts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leslie, I wanted to ask you about, because we just talked about grounding. There's a Red Sox player, Adam Ottavino, who has a ritual before every game where he goes out in his bare feet in the field and sits on the field and he grounds with the field. And it's become popular. A couple of guys in the clubhouse are doing it too. You know anything about earth grounding?
It worked real
like
well
that?
for the last game, didn't it?
I know, right?
5 hours.
Yeah.
A practice in meditation is to put your feet flat on the ground so you can connect with Mother Earth. So that's just what he's doing. And I agree with whatever he's doing because it's going to do nothing but positive things for him. So.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
It's
something
real
about it.
positive things for him.
It hasn't lately, but there's a transfer of energy from the earth to you, right? When you're on the earth barefoot.
Yes.
Or is it, wait a minute. Or is it the
You
earth
too.
sucking your energy into it? Think about that.
There's a transference of energy. How do you like that?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. You get dirty feet and the earth gets your energy. I'm just saying.
So when I meditate, I connect myself to the ground and to the universe. So
Yeah, we do the universe. I mean, we do the seance. People put their feet flat in the ground, right?
Yeah.
So,
Gotta keep grounded, man.
and of course, we have the what's his face name? Kylie Irving, who came in and
Kyrie
saged
Irving
the garden.
the garden, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, and by the way, back to the Satan thing for a second.
Oh,
There was this the 666.
Yeah.
There was a player in the NHL, Miroslav Satan. His last name's Satan, Satan, but it's
Yeah.
Miroslav Satan. And if you go through at the time, if you go through the player pages, Leslie, they'd have all the stats and everything and the little notes on the player and things like that. And they're all the URL up the top, the page name was numbers. And some clown at ESPN put his number at 666. Miroslav Satan's
How did
page
I
number
know
was
that?
666. I just laughed my ass off. It was great.
yeah.
Oh, it's great. How can you pass that up?
Well, that was an opportunity found right there.
Exactly. One of those little inside jokes that I love that are not obvious that people got to work to get the joke.
Yeah. Wait a minute, it's not obvious? How can that not be obvious?
Well, you go to his player page on ESPN. Who looks at the URL and what the player number is?
Yeah, I
His
suppose.
number to 6.
Lou Velassi does.
I do.
It does.
I don't know why I noticed it, but I noticed it.
So remember we had on the show, we had the Italians show guys.
Yeah.
And he had baseball cards and he said one was haunted or something. Do you remember that?
I don't remember that. Was there one haunted?
Yeah, according to him, we were going to go his house and
Oh no, there was one that he lost, and
whatever. It was.
yeah,
So I mean,
he used to go. He still goes away for a few months to Florida, so he has these expensive baseball cards. So he hid one and didn't remember he hid it, and then came back. He found it in like a pan in the drawer and he thinks a ghost moved it. So
Say, there you go.
yeah.
You put it somewhere safe.
Could
So
happen.
steal it.
Could happen.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, anyways, these people.
Smokey Joe Wood, by the way, was the player.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So any of these items could, like, you buy anything. I mean, how do you know what you're really getting? How do you know you're really getting?
That's why we need a grading service. That's why you need to get involved. We got people with expertise here who can give you an idea of how legitimate that haunting is. I think this is a great idea.
Yeah, but you could have like somebody else, like Mutt and Jeff, do the same thing Leslie and I do, and so what would theirs be any different than ours?
You have credibility. You're an respected author.
Well, they can
Leslie's
dig
a
up some-
respected medium.
They could dig up some paranormal guys to do it, I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
They do their own service
There are
thing.
several grading services, but
But this would be the best one, right?
it would be the best one. Absolutely.
So what do you think, Liz?
Better Business Bureau of the paranormal.
What do you think, Liz?
Why not?
We'll grade your haunted item. We'll tell you how freaking haunted it is. Okay, how's that? Will it make your teeth fall out? Okay.
Think about it, though. You're selling it on eBay.
Will
and
the cows not produce milk? We'll let you know.
Our haunted item is graded a K7.
Guaranteed to give you piles.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, this is the whole thing, and it kind of irritates me. And I did one of the few blogs I did. I've actually did like 3 blogs, but one of them was like, "Who speaks for the dead?" And it's like, you know, mediums and paranormal investigators, and they come up and they say all kinds of crap they want, and the poor people that are dead, right? They may, you know, it just irritates the crap out of me. They don't have a voice at all. So, you know, oh, he was a pedophile, and you know, it's like these people have relatives. These people have a bloodline. These people, you know, might have been outstanding people. And why are you, you know, on absolutely no scientific basis at all? And what? Because a broken radio said evil, or what? I don't understand that.
There is such a moral obligation when you're doing mediumistic work to be true and honest with everything that you connect with. And I do not believe that you get a reading unless you get credible, accountable information that can be verified by the person who's sitting across from you. If you don't have that, then you're not working with a medium who is being truthful and honest. So it's a moral obligation. I mean,
But what happens when you bring up information that the person you're reading isn't aware of?
Well, it depends what that information is, and
Right.
if it has any bearing on
their character.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've had instances in the red light seance where I'm getting information about someone at the table and their significant other, and mom doesn't like that person, but I'm not going to tell them that.
Yeah.
That's not going to come out of my mouth because that's not something that person needs to hear at that time.
Exactly.
So you have to be a filter on top of what you're getting because of the moral obligation. It's just overwhelming to me that people just like spurt out, oh, he was a pedophile, he did awful things to children, when they're on these like investigations, these public.
Yeah, like if somebody's got an old school that they do and they bring it and they're saying, well, I'm picking up on a principal or a teacher that was a pedophile and everything else, and they slander the crap out of them, and there's absolutely no verifiable records of any of that occurring in this place, but because some medium or some paranormal investigator had a broken box that told them it was, you know, people believe it. And then before you know it, it's the old whisper in the ear thing. It becomes truth, you know?
Yeah, and investigators looking for a headline. But let's go back to your previous example, Leslie, because I'm curious about this and where your responsibility lies. Let's go back to the example you talked about where you're reading for a woman and you're talking to her mother, and her mother doesn't like her husband, and her husband's there, or maybe her husband isn't there, whatever. And you have to decide whether to pass along that information. You're like a realtor at this point. You've got loyalties on both sides. Don't you have to serve the mother as well as the person that you're reading? can you decide that I'm not going to pass that along?
Hey, she gets paid not by her mother.
That's true.
If it's not for the highest good of the person across from me, then I'm not going to pass on that information. So.
Which is fair, and that's the way it should be. Why would you tell somebody something that was hurtful?
Right. It's
Yeah,
just
no, I understand, but by the same token, you're having a reading. Wouldn't you want to know the truth?
well, sometimes I've been in situations where things just blurt out of my mouth, and I think, oh, shit.
Can't take them back. Ooh,
Recently at a seance, I was like, oh my God, he was a beep. And then she's like, yeah, he was. But I was thinking, oh my God, that should not have come out of my mouth. But it did. So sometimes, sometimes it blurts, but I try to stay on top of that because,
when we do the red light seances, I mean, we get a lot of information, and sometimes we can verify it, which is what we want, right? This is what, if we can verify it, it's great. That's I think. I mean, and some of it doesn't make sense at all. I mean, we had a spirit come through supposedly in the seance we did last time, or 2 times ago, and he was there for an hour. Okay, so that's a long time for a spirit to be there, and we got quite a bit of information, and it was like strange, but we're able to verify it, which is the coolest thing. We got his name, which is
which didn't make sense to us at the time because of the way it was spelled. But hey, guess what? That was his name.
Yeah.
Verification and means of some sort of records and
Wilhelm Shits.
Shits.
Excuse me.
spelled.
Shits.
SCITZ, right? Is that what it was? Wilhelm Shits.
Wilhelm Shits.
And
he said shits, and they all like, oh, Ron, you're just being an asshole. But it turned out to be that.
And he told us that he had signed the book at Ellis Island. So Jim, who is our tech guy at the seances, he's great. He gets on. He found him in the records of Ellis Island. So how cool is that?
So we had an actual verification of a name. Now, you tell me where that information came from.
Me?
If you're being a skeptic, you try to be a skeptic. We have, I forget how many people are at there, 6 or something like that. There wasn't too many. It was like, say 6 people, 6, 7 people. All right. Who the heck at that is, if you were reading minds, who the heck that, excuse me.
Okay. Yeah, because a skeptic would say you hit a name in the Ellis Island rules, but that's not a name you would come up with if you were trying to do that, right?
Exactly. I mean, you would pick Smith.
Mary Brown.
Smith, yeah, O'Brien, something like that.
Callahan.
Yeah, Callahan.
Yeah.
Blasey.
No, there aren't many Blasies.
But, so that is intriguing as hell. To me, that I really, that tickles my fancy, to be honest with you. When
hard and verifiable information, and that's what that's what you strive for in mediumship.
You can't always get it, to be honest with you, but we do get some information, and there are times like, there was one time Leslie picked up a girl from New Hampshire, but it died in New Hampshire. Remember? And one of the seances. Do you remember that one?
It was in like a circus tent.
Yeah.
And the tent collapsed on her, and she was about 6, I think. Is that right? And so Jim looked that up. Hey, guess what? Verified.
There was a circus accident in New Hampshire. So
when was this?
I don't remember.
I can't remember either.
That's a very specific set of circumstances, right?
Well, that's the thing. We get sometimes we get some really, really good specific thing. We got some guy coming through who was on board one of the ships that tried to go through the Northwest Passage, and it
was the same night.
What was it?
That was the same night.
Was it really?
Yeah.
And they got frozen in.
Yeah, it was a guy that died on that ship, and we got the name of the ship. It wasn't, in all fairness, it wasn't exactly, but it was close to it, which is what happens sometimes. Because I did a last week's show with Steve on Next Generation. I did it with Stephen Scott, and we talked a lot about seances and mediumship and so forth. And sometimes the information goes through us, so sometimes it gets filtered. And he talked about more vibrations, so you have vibrations have to be really in tune, or else you can get a little bit lost in translation, basically. And sometimes things that come through make no sense at all to the medium, but to the other person. For instance, one of the things we talked about is that Stephen Scott, being a Scottish medium, he comes over there. So I said, so what? What if there was this guy and he wanted to get a message to the person he was talking to to let him know it was him, or something that evolved, and it was like a cardinal or something. And so Steve said, I would say red bird, because I don't know what a cardinal was.
Yeah.
So you see, it still has to go through the person it's going through, the human, to get the message across. So sometimes it gets screwed up along the way.
Sure.
We have problems with dates. Dates is our biggest problem. Don't you think, Liz?
We have a few problems. I don't think it's a problem. I think we just need to, hone in on sharpening that skill.
That's where I differ with you, because I think it's not our problem. It's pretty much the spirit problem, and establishing time, because we try to get it to do dates, which is difficult. And I think we should be doing more of events, things that they're familiar with.
Yeah, like who's president, or
that old line, who's president at the time, or something like that.
That
but
makes sense.
Because not sure. Time is a man-made thing. It's something we create ourselves to measure different our lives and everything. But we don't know what it's like in the spirit world, and what how they conceive time. I mean, I remember I was in the Tenney Gatehouse, and I was there, and somebody said to me, he doesn't like your hat. Why do you have that hat on? And it was a spirit from a different time who didn't know what a baseball cap was. So he didn't like that we had a hat on or something like that. So you can see that where, okay, so if you're a different time, it'll show up. So,
but who the president was, world events, things like that, you can try to.
Yes, that's what I said. Right, that's what we should be doing that rather than time. I noticed in seances we do have difficulty in getting time sometimes.
We have a member of our circle who is invaluable. She is a costume person, and so I can
also a member of Patreon, by the way.
I can tell her what I'm seeing, and based on what I'm telling her, and she'll say, well, is the skirt hooped or is it blah? And I give her the exact details, and she can help us pin down the time period.
Yeah, it's important to have people like that involved in this stuff.
Yeah. So do you do a lot of that Googling or research during the seance itself?
Jim does.
Yeah. It's good to have.
Jim, look up this.
Yeah, some of it's really good. I mean, we can verify. I mean, it's intriguing, and that's why I do it. Of course, we always want more, right, Liz?
We always want more.
Yeah, we always want more, but yeah. And the interesting thing, there are some nights that are more active than other nights, which, to me, I understand it. We always want it to be active, right? But unfortunately, we can see that where they're not trained monkeys, and we don't get the same spirits that come through all the time, although we do get some repeaters, right?
We do. And sometimes we think, oh, it's a full moon, or oh, there's a storm brewing, and it never seems to work out in our favor.
Or the music we're playing or whatever.
Yeah.
No, it comes down, what are these spirits doing in their free time?
I know, right? They've got nothing else to do.
You think, but
what is time?
Free time?
What is time?
Yeah, I know, but there's got to be something. They've got to be occupied with something, don't they?
I don't know, dude.
The other thing is how much are they cognizant of our world versus their own?
Their own.
Can they see us as we are?
World or the spirit world?
Is the world whatever the world they're in, or their own world?
I just take it at face value. I mean, I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, and we're having an exchange. So
They have
they're
no eyes. They have no nose. They have no smell. They have no feel. They have no thing. How can?
Because they're part of the greater consciousness. They don't need eyes to see. They don't need air to breathe.
Leslie's not using any of her senses when she's communicating with spirit.
No, I'm not.
Yes,
I look
Yeah.
often.
Whoa! What makes you think she's
I
not
can
using?
smell. I can smell. So I do use my senses, but I'm in a different place in my head.
That's not true, because you also feel the pain of them, and it's also there are times when you are touched by them.
No.
So
Wait a second. There's
You're
two,
not hearing me. I'm in a different place in my head.
yeah, there's two different things.
it doesn't
here.
matter where your head is.
I'm using my body and all its functions, but I'm also using different skills at the same time that I don't quite understand.
If she comes up with a smell, and we've had this before,
I smell old people.
Well, you can come up with a smell in your head that doesn't exist in the real world. There might be a memory that might trigger. We had the woman on who called about her husband's tobacco or father's tobacco smoke.
Yeah,
you can come up with that smell almost by mentioning it. It doesn't mean the stimulus is there. It means it's triggered in your mind.
Or does it?
Well,
That's not true, because we can sit at a table and you'll have more than one person smell something, or more than one person hear something, or more than one person see something. So that's still in the physical world.
Yeah, I'm sure some of it is, but it's not necessary.
Which I have no idea how we ended up where we are, by the way, because we were talking about the other way around. Now we're bringing it in this way. So I don't know, whatever.
No, you were talking that how do they perceive us, because
how they perceive us.
They can't see, smell, taste, or touch. It's not necessary. I don't think it's necessary to communicate.
I'm thinking back as I do get smells that I don't smell with my nose. I am aware of. I'm made aware of he's a pipe smoker, because I can smell the pipe smoke, but it's not in the atmosphere. So I guess it goes both ways.
We hear things that aren't there. We see things that aren't physically there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that end of it.
Okay.
Is if you're seeing stuff or smelling stuff or hearing stuff that is not in our physical world, is it possible that you are opening up your mind to another dimension, another world, where you're actually astral projecting into another world or another dimension or another?
Honestly, Ron, I don't know how it works. I just know it happens.
No, that's the thing. This is discussion, so you can say what you believe in and what you think. I just throwing stuff out there, basically, to the wall, whatever sticks, But yeah, it's so intriguing. I don't know.
It is. Yeah.
It drives me. Anyway,
I was reading a couple stories this weekend about consciousness, and they've got scientists talking about what consciousness might be and might not be. That's the basic question here, isn't it?
So,
what consciousness is and how we exist.
Yeah. So what are you reading in these articles? Tell us a little more.
These guys are just talking about. There were a couple of articles a few weeks ago about consciousness and quantum physics, but there was an article that came up on my news feed yesterday or the day before. With this guy, and I got to be honest with you, it wasn't Scientific American, but it was something along those lines. And there was this guy who was talking about consciousness, and he was explaining consciousness. And Leslie, I read the whole damn article, and I have no idea what the guy said. I got no idea what the hell he was talking about.
How do you spell consciousness?
Huh?
How do you spell consciousness?
C-O-N.
Yeah.
S-C-I.
S-I?
S-C-I.
Oh, S-C-I. Hang on.
Need a pen.
I got it.
Basically, the discussion with consciousness is whether we produce consciousness ourselves. In other words, does our mind or our brain produce our consciousness, or does our consciousness exist outside of our body and our mind and our brain? Is it a separate thing? And that's the basic question.
According to this, consciousness at its simplest is this sensiness, awareness of eternal and external existence.
I connect to a different consciousness.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny, as skeptical as I can be at times, that seems plausible to me. That seems like something that's so underdeveloped in humans. And I know Ron's got his religious beliefs, but when people ask me about religion, I feel like there's a God, but I feel it's a collective consciousness. That's the way I kind of describe God. That's the way I feel about God. And
so why do you not think that in religion it wouldn't be any different?
Well, religion as it was presented to me anyway, or as I interpreted it, I might be wrong, but religion is presenting me this guy with a beard who sits on a throne.
That's
And
called an analogy because at the
Yeah.
time people were simple-minded and they
Right.
needed a simple thing, to something they could wrap their thing around.
Right.
But it's much greater than that. It's so
I believe it is.
we don't know. This is consciousness is
And that's the thing about it, because consciousness can't be sensed with any of our five senses, so we have no way to deal with it. In other words, we can't see it, taste it, smell it, touch it. So
it's because it's not the
So
it's
it's
the
hard for us to
receptor, not the
well, yeah, is-
Which makes me wonder, when we lose consciousness, like if we're in a coma, where do we go?
That's the $6,000 question. I started a project called the Human Soul Project, and some of the research I did.
Sorry,
Some of the research I did.
I'll close that out now.
Strange shit going on here.
the universe is signaling us.
Yeah, some of the strange stuff I don't even know now. Some of
Soul. That's the way religion deals with consciousness, I believe.
conscious and soul. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're interchangeable. And one of the leading anesthesiologists, I believe it's the University of Arizona, had done a lot of work on it. And it's intriguing because we are aware that consciousness exists. But for instance, when they put you under anesthesia, they don't know where consciousness is
Or goes.
or goes.
They have no idea how anesthesia works. That's the fascinating thing.
Because it works on something
Good.
they don't
It's your-
understand.
Oh, it's fascinating.
I mean, I suppose
What is the difference between that moment of death and life before it, the moment before? What is it? What is the sum of that difference? What is the sum of the difference at birth? What is it? What are we instilled with, and what do we lose that makes a difference between life and non-life? I mean, what is that? I mean, it's a fascinating question. What are you looking up?
I'm just curious because I'm looking at more on the consciousness. I'm in a decent site here, Stanford, and consciousness is a genetic sense of simply being sentient creature, or one capable of sensing and responding to the world. Being conscious in this sense may emit of degrees, may be emitted of degrees. Just what is sensory capabilities, and are they sufficiently so that when you get on, oh wow, I don't understand. This is like totally.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just like it's so conscious is your feeling of being is your
Consciousness is your connection to the world. You see and you hear.
I mean,
You're aware.
who is-
You can interact. You are aware of the world around you.
I mean, that goes all the way back to what is you?
Yeah, exactly.
Seriously. I mean, it goes circle. I mean, what is you? You are a conscious being. So if you are unconscious, are you no longer you?
No, you're just in a closet somewhere that no one knows.
So, no, if they put you under and you become unconscious, are you no longer you? Because
Well, I have been
you are
unconscious.
consciousness. What?
I have lost consciousness and been above myself. So
That's
It depends. I'll give you the answer to that question in a way that'll confuse everybody, because that's
already
what this
confusing.
discussion is all about.
confusion.
You say when you become unconscious, are you still you?
Mhm.
What's you? In other words, your body.
That's what I was just
Yeah.
saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's-
do you just consider your body you? And I think that's the wrong approach. I think your consciousness is you.
No. No, I don't think anyone's saying is their body you.
Well, I know. I'm trying to rephrase the question that you asked. Are you still you?
Are you still you?
Yeah, your consciousness is still there.
If you are your consciousness and your consciousness is not there, then are you no longer you? because we always say we don't know what happens to the consciousness when we become unconscious.
Yeah. See, not being a medical doctor and not knowing much of anything about this at all, my thought would be your consciousness never goes away. Your relationship with your body and your consciousness might change for a period of time under anesthesia, for example, but your consciousness still exists and is still functioning. It's just not talking to your body at the moment.
I like how you phrase that.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Your consciousness, so you're saying, no, then you would be aware of what was going on.
He's
You're
saying
aware-
that the communication between your body self.
Yeah, I understand that. I got that part. But where does your consciousness physically go?
I don't believe it. I don't believe consciousness travels. In other words, I don't think consciousness is contained in a body somewhere. I don't think consciousness is in a bucket. It goes from one room to another. I think,
You don't think so?
no.
You sure?
Well, the Gita says consciousness is an ocean.
All right. What happens to...
We're trying to answer all these existential questions.
And
right
they
here
are
on the show. Yeah.
Oh, here it is. What happens to comatose? Consciousness in a comatose person's brain appears to be turned off by an interference with the brain's communication between the brainstem and the cerebellum, which effectively controls the cognitive conscious. So now I can see that. So that when you're in a coma, you're still there, but you're not.
Yeah.
Comer, go ahead.
That's as much as they gave me on that.
So
The brain is the liaison.
The anesthesia is turning off the connection.
Yeah, the brain is the liaison between your consciousness and your body.
So
And
if you're medically
Anesthesia
turned
turns
off,
that off. Yeah.
right. So if you're medically turned off, then your consciousness would still be there. It's just not able to communicate
Right.
with the body. I don't think it goes off to some sort of like retreat.
But it does if you listen to some people, because we know that in near-death experience, people have seen themselves and were able to retell experiences that occurred while they were dead.
Okay, but
And,
that's
and it also while they were in operation and they were unconscious as well, or under anesthesia, they can still report these same circumstances. So you have this, whether you're dead or your body's still alive, you're still having these experiences. Go ahead, Les.
maybe there's a point where your body is about to shut off, where your consciousness is allowed to leave and go elsewhere. But there's also astral travel where people can consciously leave their bodies. So I guess it depends on the person and what they want to do. Not the person, but the spirit of that person and what they feel comfortable doing. Like if one feels comfortable traveling outside of their comfort zone, their body, then they can do that if they want. I guess it's personal comfort level.
And I'm guessing that connection between the consciousness and the body isn't a light switch. It's more of a, like, for example, in near-death experiences or something like that, maybe there is still a connection for a while as long as the body, because again, there's that time period after death before, we don't know what goes on in a person after they've quote unquote died for a period of time. In other words, does brain death happen immediately? Is the consciousness hanging around for a few seconds? We don't know that because it has no way to communicate with us.
But there are also those instances where people have been brain dead and an hour later or whatever, they come back and say, oh yeah, I was underwater for an hour and and I was able to be revived. It's again that personal choice that I'm thinking that you want to stay, you have the choice whether you can stay or you can go.
I'm not sure if we have a choice.
To stay or go?
Sometimes I would think that if you were offered the opportunity to stay, you would.
No, that's not true, because there are many instances where people have not wanted to return to their body and consciousness and have.
Yes, my dad did not want to leave this world, but he did. He was hanging on.
But the other way around, there are people where they had these near-death experiences where they were so happy and everything else, they did not want to go be
Sure.
returned to their body, but yet they did. So they were.
I think you have some control, but it's not absolute. Think about the situations you've been in a nursing home where someone is leaving, but they won't leave until they see their daughter. They won't leave till they see their granddaughter, and they just hang on. And then not only do they hang on and stay
But
here, but
is
they
that
decide
just-
to let go afterwards.
Is that just the sheer will or consciousness to keep that body alive until it completes its whatever it wants done, whether it's seeing somebody or making their birthday or whatever?
But that exercises some control. And how many elderly couples have we
Exercises
seen-
control over the body, but not necessarily exercises control over the consciousness.
Okay. Yeah, I know.
So, for instance, if you're in the unconscious and you come to the better place and you don't want to go back, but you get dragged back in some of these experiences that people have reported, then it shows that they don't have control on it. But I see what you're saying as far as that. You do have control over your
Well, I don't
body.
think- again, I don't think it's an absolute. I think in some cases you can will yourself to stay a little longer or go earlier. How many times have you seen a couple, the wife dies and the husband goes 2 weeks later or goes a week later or something like that?
Yeah.
They just let go. They gave up. My mother let go.
That's because he doesn't know the password. So I'm going.
It was
I'm
like,
not going to try to figure this out.
it was hours after she was told she was going to be in a nursing home for the rest of her life. She just let go.
Yeah.
You know, she just decided. Yeah.
Maybe it's a case by case.
Yeah.
We don't know. It's hard saying not knowing.
I don't think there's a rule book.
No.
There's no rule book?
No rule book. Maybe.
I don't know.
It's just so fascinating.
We know that, consciousness is linked to receptors in the brain. We do know that. Okay, that
Has to be.
Yeah,
There's-
well,
there has to be
he's
some
a
kind of
fire.
connection. Yeah.
but it's also it still can function even though these receptors at times basically that's what they do under anesthesiology. They shut down these receptors. So we know that consciousness can still exist without these receptors.
Yep.
So once again, we don't know what consciousness is. All we know that how it controls the body is through these little receptors.
Don't you essentially disconnect those receptors during dream state too? I mean, at night?
I do not know that. You're going to make me Google that too. I'll be here all day. Google. Yeah, it's your job. You're the professor.
I mean, you're in a dream. You're not paying attention to
It's
your
possible.
receptors in the bed. Your mind is somewhere else, creating its own world. Doing its own thing, listening to its own stimulus.
But you're still in control.
By the way, plenty of cases in there where a sense is shown. They see something, they hear something, they smell something, they touch something that doesn't exist in the physical world. But
Yeah.
it's just as real to the person.
But we also know that during dream state too, that we still have control of our body. Hence why people sleepwalk, and also the old hag syndrome, or the what's the other word for that? Where people will experience they can't breathe, there's presence in the room, and everything else. We know
Sleep paralysis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that the part of our natural function is that during sleep we shut off our body.
Right.
So that otherwise, because if we were killing people in our dreams, we could be killing our wife in our bed or our husband. So, I mean, we have these things, but we know how consciousness pretty much works with the body through these receptors and is able to control it. But we don't know what the hell consciousness
What it
really
is.
is. Where it really is.
What it is, where it goes, where it comes from, where it is.
So the you is really not your body. The you is more this consciousness, to me, anyways.
I believe so, and I think that's an important mental health corner to turn to. Once you get into that observer position and understand that it's like you're in a car. You're not the car. Your body, your mind, that's a car. You, the real you, your consciousness is driving it.
So if we believe, let's believe that consciousness, for lack of better terms, is an entity.
Okay,
Okay, so I got to call it something.
sure.
So if we believe this is some type of entity, energy entity, I guess, is we good with this so far? Or should
Sure.
we move somewhere else? All right. If my terminology is not going to work, just let me know.
Well, energy is all we know. It's
So,
the basis for everything.
If we look in people who become possessed or reincarnated, supposedly, which I don't believe it. Is it this entity that actually goes into that other person? And so are they hijacking that person's body, basically? I mean, that's pretty simplistic, but that's the best I can do what I'm trying to say.
So I'm a spirit that I'm not ready to go, and there's that kid over there, and he looks pretty vulnerable. So I'm going to go jump into that body and take over. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of evil.
Yeah, but maybe we have, people who...
All I know is what the Gita teaches. I've been doing that podcast for a long time, and I know their approach to this whole thing.
What's their approach?
That
just throw stuff out there. You got to explain these things, Lou.
The full consciousness, the consciousness is Brahman. That's what they call it. It's just, and that's their thing for God. It's just this huge consciousness, and consciousness in us is the Atman. And I'm talking like I'm an expert here, so don't write if.
And you're killing me with these terms.
Is the Atman. That's the piece of the Brahman that's in us. When some of it comes into us, it's called the Atman. So it's basically consciousness. Atman is consciousness. And they believe in reincarnation. And what they believe is that when you die, Atman returns to Brahman. But it brings along some of it's kind of like, as it's described to me, it's kind of like a SIM card chip. They bring along some of your desires, your needs, the things that you want to accomplish so that you go to your next life. And depending on how enlightened you become in your life, that determines the choices you get in your next life, to be in your next life. So this is why kids, for example, one can be a child prodigy at piano, right? They just somehow instinctively know how to play piano because it came from a past life. Or that if you have two kids, I don't know how many kids you have, Leslie. I have two kids. They're vastly different people. Same gene pool and, same upbringing, same environment, same nature, but they're two vastly different people. And the Gita will tell you it comes from their previous lives, their wants, desires, things they need to continue to work on in this particular life.
We know scientifically, though, that we are not exact duplicates of our parents. So it's very likely that people are different because their DNA is different. And so we have, for instance, you have directly four people. For 6 people that made you, 2 people that made you, but 2 parents on each one of those, and you can go down the line.
Thousands
so
of people,
we all know that from our inherited features as well. So why wouldn't it be any different than personality? Why is that we acquire these different things from things, and everybody's environment, even though you're in the same household. You're not exactly raised identical. You sit in different classrooms at school. You have different friends at school. You have different things, and you're affected differently through it. So, I mean, to me, it's not an example of reincarnation, but I mean, that's your belief. That's your belief.
No, I'm just
reincarnation. My biggest problems is that the classic one they talk about is the little boy who loved the airplanes and everything else, and he ends up giving all this pertinent information about this pilot, and they find his wrecked plane and everything else, and they give him a burial, and the kid's got no more pilot in his brain. So to me, that's not reincarnation. That's just, if anything, possession, where a spirit or entity has been influenced this child, or is in connection with this child, like Leslie is connected to the spirit when she talks to him. And that information is somehow tied. It's not really reincarnation. It's more just another spirit coming through. And then there's the whole thing of, if you believe in a greater consciousness, how do you know you're not just tapping into the greater consciousness to where all the Akashic records are, when all this other information is that you can pull out?
Yep.
So I mean, there's a variety of thoughts and things. And the problem is we can't prove any of it, which is
we have to go. But correct me if I'm wrong here, because this reincarnation thing comes up. The Catholic Church has to believe in reincarnation, doesn't it? Because the well of souls limits the amount of people that there can be over the period of time. there's only X amount of souls according to the theory of the well of souls, right?
Yeah, the guff is empty. But more and more people inhabit the earth. So how is that possible?
Yeah, I don't know.
So if it'd be the same spirits over and over again.
Yeah,
And it's not, because the population is growing. So that doesn't make sense either,
yeah, something's not right.
So
because we don't understand everything.
Exactly.
And maybe the thing is that, oh, we got to go.
Yeah.
All right. So anyways, that's,
I enjoyed the hell out of this.
I don't know what the hell we talked about.
I know, but I enjoyed it.
lots of stuff.
That confused the whole day with me on this. So
Yeah, us and everybody else. Nobody has the answer to this one.
I'm coming back with the answer next week. I'll have it all down black and white for you people out there who drink beer, and there you go.
I
right.
tricked you.
Fun, Leslie, as always.
Thank you so much for joining us, Lou.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me today. It was a pleasure.
And thank you all those who listen to this. Have a good day, and God bless.
From ghoulies to ghosties, long-leggedy beasties, and things that go bump in the night. Deliver us, good Lord.